In today's gospel, we are looking at this interesting set of readings. So interesting, we can call this weekend the weekend without miracles. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, let's look at what's going on here. Our second reading and our gospel talk about situations where miracles do not happen. In our second reading, St. Paul is preaching, and he's talking about his experience where he prayed 3 times that he would be healed of an eye disease he suffered. And the answer from the Lord is no, and he accepts that. Remember who Paul was. Paul healed people, raised them from the dead, and many other things. And when he goes to the Lord and says, Lord, heal me of my eye disease, the Lord says no, and Paul accepts it. Why? Because the Lord explains, if I heal you of the eye disease, you will become prideful. And everyone in ministry knows that the minute pride enters your ministry is over. Oh, it may become very successful. You may have many followers, but in reality, you're not doing God's work. You're doing your own, and you're making yourself God. So what he's learning from Jesus is, no, this eye disease is helping him remain humble before the Lord, because, as he says, it is in weakness power becomes perfection. The Lord can do incredibly powerful things through him when he is humble before the Lord. But once he becomes prideful, the door shuts on Paul's side. Paul's the one that shuts the door, and the Lord is outside. And the Lord says, no, we can't allow that, because then you do nothing. In the gospel reading, we see almost an opposite situation. Jesus goes to his own hometown. He does great miracles throughout the land, but not there. And in his own hometown, when he's trying to do miracles, people want nothing to do with him. Now, he says he can't do anything because of their lack of faith. I want to give a little instruction here. Some people will go to a Christian faith healer, even a Catholic faith healer, and they'll pray to be healed. And a healing will not happen. And some people will erroneously say to them, well, the reason why the healing did not happen is you did not have enough faith. That's a lie. That is absolute wrong. Why? Because if you went to a faith healer, you have faith. That's basically it right there. But the Lord doesn't heal everyone. He heals whomever he heals. And so, yes, it may happen that you go to the Lord. It may happen that you aren't healed, but it's not because you don't have faith. It's because, as we see in Paul, he doesn't heal everyone. There's another reason. You will find a different kind of healing going on in your life. You'll find something more powerful. In my own experience, my mother was handicapped for most of her life, and sure, she asked for healing. Didn't happen to her physically, but she was powerful spiritually. And so we look at that and we see that reality of that healing aspect. But what Jesus is dealing with is something different. There's the other aspect of lack of faith where someone isn't even going to approach Jesus, and that's what's going on here. The whole attitude is, we know who Jesus is. He grew up around here. Yeah, it's really nice that he does these powerful things, but you know, we know him. Really not into that around here. And probably what you're dealing with is a case where the people are filled with the sense of all we need to do is follow the rules, and we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. That's not what Jesus is teaching. He's teaching people to break that old concept of just do the minimum and you're going to get somewhere, but instead he wants the people at that time, as he wants us, to look at our relationship with him completely different. In fact, he's calling the people to begin a relationship with God, something that they weren't used to. That's why he said, Abba, Father, Daddy, in a sense. In Spanish, they use a term that I'm still not used to, Papito Dios, which literally means little daddy God. Sounds better in Spanish, Papito Dios. I'm not used to that. They use it all the time, Papito Dios. And that whole concept of having that deep relationship with God, that's what Jesus is calling the people to. They're not into that. We don't want to hear that. We do what we need to do. We risk ending up in the same position when we do the same thing. Look, I go to church, I go home, what else do you want from me? That's what we don't want to see. Because once we do that, we're in a rut. We'll never experience God to the level he's calling us to experience him. And what will happen is that we just get caught in this rut. Jesus is calling us to renew our faith every day. Well, the question is, how do we do it? And the answer is simple. We bring every issue that we deal with, every positive and negative issue that we deal with, into our prayer, and we explain to the Lord, lead us through this. Your worst crises will lead you closer to God. Your worst sins are the doorway to turning towards God, because you're going to turn from the sin, and where do you turn when you turn from the sin? To God. It's going to lead you closer to God. If you happen to be struggling with a really bad sin and you want to change, you turn to the Lord and He will lead you out of that sin over time. But where are you going when you're walking out of that darkness? Maybe it's an addiction, maybe it's alcoholism or something like that. You're walking into the light. Our worst crises, maybe you lost a job, maybe you're struggling with money, maybe you're struggling with one thing or another. Our worst crises will lead us closer to God. And that's what He's trying to teach. The people in His village, they didn't want to hear that. Oh, we're all set. That's okay, Jesus, we're all set. But in our own life, we bring our issues to the Lord, and when we do, He can answer them powerfully. He may not take them away, but He can answer them powerfully in ways that lead us closer to Him. And that's what the Lord is calling us to in these readings. Even Paul discovers, yes, I have this eye disease. The Lord is not going to heal me, but He's leading me closer to Him, and that's what I want. In our own experience, let us celebrate what the Lord is doing in our lives, leading us closer to Him, that we may experience the fullness of our experience with Christ, knowing that He leads us every day as long as we are open to His leadership. God bless you.